with me, man. Please don't go there with me. But the point that I'm trying to get to is that there has been this global manufacturing of an image of black people in this country that many of you and your family members, your relatives, have come to this country. As many brothers have told me out of their own mouths, they have been warned, stay away from them black folk when you get to America, unless you're opening up a business. I've been told by people, if it's a lie, they told it. But I've been told by many Muslims that when they came to this country, they were warned of all of these issues that we come to the table with. And I've been blessed to have traveled to a number of countries around the world. Many of them Muslim, many of them not. And I'm here to say, just like you, who've traveled more than me, that we got some rascals and some scoundrels and some no good people and some good people everywhere on earth, whether they're Muslim or not. That black folks in America don't have the monopoly on scoundrels and robbers. I've been to some of these countries, and I'm telling you what my own experiences have been. So when my brother who started all this problem, so when these folks, regardless, and then we can globalize this attitude, because in our Muslim countries, we have attitudes about one another from one Muslim country to the next Muslim country. I was in Singapore back in December, I think it was. The first time, and I didn't ask my host any questions about it, but then when I saw it the next week, the same day, and I saw these trucks loading up and things like that, and he said, well, it's not just on that day, it's every day. I said, well, where are they going? What are they doing? And they said, well, these are the workers. And I said, well, what are they doing? He said, well, they're doing, and it's a lot of the street cleaning and all this kind of work. And the people, the brothers were from a certain country. All of them were from a certain country. Because I started paying attention as we were moving around in the city, and I'm looking for these guys now, because they have on these uniforms. I'm looking, I'm saying, is it anybody from any other nationality other than this one group of people? And it was not. And so the attitude of many of the people of that country towards those people was that they are just dirty laborers. Not dirty in dirt on their skin, but they do the dirty work that no one else wants to do. And I've been to the country where these workers come from. And they're brilliant people, giving, loving, caring people, but the stereotype in the country was all they're good for is cleaning up our toilets, cleaning out the sewer to make sure that the water is flowing down the streets and these kinds of things. So we bring many of these attitudes with us to this country. And now we are expected to come together in one big happy building. And everybody love each other and hug each other, and we need to do this. But it takes work, because we are bringing too much baggage along with us. It takes work. It takes confronting the prejudice that we have within ourselves. It doesn't take this denying, oh, Muslims aren't prejudiced. There's no racism amongst Muslims. That's nonsense. We have been conditioned to be the way that we are, and we have to uncondition ourselves to get out of this stuff. We can't deny it. Like the proverbial ostrich, bury your head in the sand. It exists. But it exists in a way that at least we are not trying to use the Quran like many Christians have tried to use the Bible for justification for slavery. These people are cursed descendants of Ham and all this other kind of nonsense. At least I haven't heard Muslims trying to justify my prejudice and your prejudice through the Quran. We know that it's wrong, but we just have to address this issue and try to do something about it. And quickly about the Tablighi Jamaat. Tabligh and Community Mosque in Winston-Salem, we are on the Tablighi Jamaat place to stay when they travel through that part of the state. And I believe that when I was younger, I took a much harder line about Tablighi Jamaat. But I have seen and I know brothers. Let me give you one example. I think sort of helped me change my attitude about the focus of Tablighi Jamaat. There were a group of Muslims that used to meet in High Point. Every Friday night, people from Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and High Point would go to a particular house in High Point, Muslim brothers who would be at Juma on Friday, but on Friday night they're over there drinking and gambling, drinking alcohol and playing cards and rolling dice. This is every Friday. Tablighi Jamaat was sick on them, like, go get them. You want to go talk to some people who really need some help? Go over there and talk to these people, right? And so they went to this house, and the brothers from Tabligh said that brothers in there started crying, they were weeping, they were, istighfar, they were like, oh, I'll never do this again. And some of them are in the community mosque now. And Allah knows best, but they have never gone back to doing that kind of wrong, that kind of haram stuff. Alhamdulillah. So I have seen and known people to have benefited from the efforts of Tablighi Jamaat. What we are talking about here, just like they are organized and committed and dedicated, and some will go out for 40 days and 7 days and 14 days and all this other, we have to be as committed. Someone has to be as committed or more committed to the mission of Dawah as they are and have been to the mission of trying to reform Muslims who've sort of fallen off the wagon. They've sort of gone astray, they're not coming around, and this kind of thing. The challenge is on us. The challenge is not on them. Let them keep doing what they're doing. But now we have to get in Charlotte, and Durham, and Raleigh, and all these other cities, and Winston-Salem, we have to be as committed or more committed, because the majority of the people of our land have not heard La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So for me, that's where my energies. I would rather spend my energies talking to those people who haven't heard this yet than spending my time necessarily trying to bring people back who've already heard it. So let me just respond very quickly to this. I think it's an excellent idea. The more we're inside one another's homes and tea parties and other things like that, we need to do this to help break down some barriers that are there. But just like at the time of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he didn't say it will take a generation or it will take like the people wandering around in the wilderness, the Bani Israel for 40 years and all y'all got to die before somebody new. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ didn't tolerate it. He forced us to address any prejudice that we might have and tell us that at that moment you're closer to disbelief than you are to believe. Now that was something that was shocking to that first generation. They couldn't handle that kind of talk. That was like, oh no, let me stop this. But it would flare up, but the Sahaba would address it right then. What we haven't done is to address it. We've dressed it up and made it more palatable and put the weight and responsibility on these young people to change something that we can change today. I think we can stop this stuff right now. We don't have to put this back on them. This is your inheritance, right? We came here, we created all this mess. Now it's for you to fix it. I don't think that's fair. And we have the capacity right now to address it once we start doing what is necessary to be done. Let me give you one quick example and I'm out of here. And I'll be out of here in a lot of different ways. Tarek's gonna throw me out, people in Durham gonna hate me and won't let me come in there. But Bilal ibn Rabah had a brother by the name of Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman wanted to marry a sister from this tribe in Medina. This is after the death of the Prophet. No, this was during the time of the life of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, because Bilal was still in Medina. And so Abdul Rahman was turned away by the family. And Abdul Rahman goes to his big brother Bilal and tells Bilal, I really want to marry this sister, why don't you come with me?